should we get right into the Destiny dragging? Because I really want to. Because oh my god, he had a second conversation with Mike from PA. Apparently, it was right after he talked to Michael. So, Mike basically gave him an opportunity to use all the stuff that he crammed into his thick skull about the TPP and trade and all this to basically still come out sounding just as uninformed as he did previously. It was interesting. It was informative. But not on Destiny's end. The key thing that really set me off, the one thing that just made me lose entirely all respect for Destiny, they were talking about the automotive industry. Now, as I said, Flint, Michigan, born and raised. If you are going to talk about, well, let's give some backup here. A lot of the premise that Mike wanted to make to Destiny was that basically these trade rules, these trade deals, boil down to capital has free roaming capabilities all over the world. That's what is being traded. Labor, on the other hand, is not free trade. It can't go everywhere. By definition, it's not going to go everywhere. So, later on, when they start talking about the automotive industry, of course, Destiny has to bring up, oh, well, the American automakers are doing great. This was really good for them. You starting to see the problem? And he started talking about, some of the top-selling cars in the U.S. are all American brands, are all American cars, you'd say. Ford F-150, the Chevy Silverado, the Dodge Ram. Okay. Now, to most people outside of the Midwest, that doesn't strike you as a bit odd to kind of say. Especially when you talk about the earlier point about how it's capital freely moving and not labor. But to someone who, let's say, is a son of several workers in the automotive industry, grew up in the literal birthplace of General Motors, lives in the state that is literally the place where the automotive industry got started and expanded all over the world, we know where these cars are built. Now, I totally give Mike a pass, because in Pennsylvania, it's not as big there. It's not as big an industry. It's never been a big manufacturing base for automotive. That's fine. I give him a pass there. But I was shouting at my phone, because that's how I listen to YouTube, shouting at it that he literally proved your point by bringing this up. And Mike just kept saying, yes, those are brands. And yes, they are brands. The F-150, the Chevy Silverado, and the Dodge Ram are all brands. But we know where they're built. And it ain't here. Let's just take a look. So where is, for instance, oh, god damn it. I had some problems with my internet a minute ago. Where is, you can already see, the Chevy Silverado and the Dodge Ram mostly built. And also a lot of the F-150. Mexico. I knew that. I know that most of our American cars are built in Mexico. And what other place? Canada. There are no American cars anymore. That there is free-moving capital to all of these countries outside the world to build these cars that are American, not here. Now, the best and least offender is the F-150, which is why I bring this up. What's more American than a Ford F-150 pickup? Try a Toyota Camry. The closest thing to an American-made car is a Japanese company that outsourced their labor to us. It literally makes the point for them. Hi, hello. Talking about my home. I defend cars. We need them right now. So very literally, you can talk to anyone from Michigan, and anyone from Flint, anyone from Detroit. We know where every single car is built. You pull it up, we go, oh yeah, that's mostly assembled in Mexico. Yes, it's not cars. We know for a reason. As I sit here, as I said, in the ruins of the industrialized Midwest, we know what happened. Capital is still here. There's still a lot of higher ups that still, frequent a place like Flint, and they're based in Detroit. You're thinking, oh, that's great. That's American money, right? But that's not American labor. So all of that wealth is going literally to the top. This is the point that Mike made several times to Destiny, and Destiny called bullshit on it. I cannot think of a better example than the automotive industry to give. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's get rid of that. I just accidentally clicked on Destiny's stream. Yeah, don't do that. So, he kept saying, this isn't a problem. This is a good thing for overall. Basically hinting at the idea that he still believes in the ridiculous conservative talking point of trickle-down economics. Oh, poor neoliberal Destiny. Oh, centrist-iny. How could you? You dumb bastard. We have a few factories still in Flint. It's only GM. Let's see here. I believe there's truck and bus and the metal fab. My dad was a metal fab worker. We have a lot more former factories in Flint. A lot of empty lots. A lot of just buildings fallen to ruin. A lot of people have come in and tried to do things with them. And some of them, they just tore down the buildings and we used lots sometimes. I have a friend who ran a festival at what used to be called the Chevy in a Hole factory. And we actually just found out that a Indian company that is vying for the contract to build the newest postal vehicle is saying that they will build their factory inside the old spot where the Buick City plant used to exist in Flint. So that's a possibility. Now we're still talking about outside money coming in. It's a good thing because at least we're doing something with the labor around Flint. If it happens. It's all based on that contract, if they get it. But that's still outside money. Capital is moving everywhere. Mike said this to him. And the automotive industry is the perfect example of that. All the money is moving around everywhere, and the labor is basically getting fucked. How is that good? How is that good? So I wanted to jump all over that and say, oh yeah, sure. The top selling brands in the US are all American. but they're not American made. And anyone from the Midwest can tell you that. Hands down. Kennedy, I'm sure you can verify. Maybe not you personally, but I'm sure family knows exactly where your car is built. Because I know everyone I know does. So I wanted to start with that because holy shit, that pissed me off. I'm not coming down on Mike at all for not saying that to him. I completely understand that that's not his focus, you know. He's a lawyer from Pennsylvania. He doesn't need to. Exactly. You're in Ohio? You know. Driving around, someone, you know, you're talking about, you know, someone points out your car or something. They can go, oh, yeah, that's built at this plant. We know. We have to know. Because part of it is we know it's not here. Not anymore. Literally making his point for him. So I guess I'd like to thank Destiny for proving Mike right in the worst way possible. And proving how ill-informed he is overall about these trade policies. The mere fact that he's sitting around talking about these trade policies like they're actually doing the things that they say they're supposed to do. And that's enough to support them. It's ridiculous. I'm over watching people debate Destiny. I want to see someone box him. You know, I'm getting that way too. I think Mike is a great sparring partner with him. I think Mike pushes him back in the right way. I think in a lot of ways, if he keeps talking to Mike, eventually Mike will break through. That's my theory. So, at this point, it's no longer watching him debate right-wingers. It's watching leftists debate him and taking him down. Maybe changing his mind. Showing how open-minded he actually is. We'll put that to the test and we'll see. Definitely check out the second one. The first one's really good if you like polls. You know, my eyes kind of glaze over when we talk about like all these different pollings. Like, oh, okay. You know, what's the real poll? The second one is where they get in the nitty gritty about, you know, trade and that. So we're just going to get these. That's all I had started. I had some fun today. I was bored on my lunch, and I saw somebody reply to me on a Steven Crowder post about socialism, where of course, you know, the world renowned historian Steven Crowder said that, you know, the obvious lie of, well, the Nazis were socialists, and if anybody tells you differently, they're lying. Yeah. Hey, Igloo. I just tuned in to a phrase that should not have been said. What's that? I'm afraid. What did you hear out of context? You would have loved the beginning of this. It's my good buddy Igloo right there. World-renowned historian Steven Crowder said with the utmost bit of sarcasm, just oozing and dripping in it, soaking up them juices. Did Mark cancel himself? Not again. Not the bottoms thing again. So, I saw, you know, the socialism explainer signed on, basically. And it's actually gotten me a lot of followers from this. I think I've gotten like 5 followers from debating this guy because he is so stupid. Let me just scroll to the top because I've been at this all day. So of course I pointed out that the first thing that Hitler did was go after socialists and communists before anyone, and then married the state to corporate rule under fascism. I haven't seen either of the Destiny debates. Mark, you have to do it next. I am but a blip on the radar. I don't have the pull that Mike from PA does. I know that sounds weird, but he's got some clout, and maybe one day. I don't know if I want to debate him, honestly. I used to think he was a good faith debater, but I don't think he is anymore. Blips run the world. All about them bottoms. A boxing match? I'm pretty sure he'd be faster than me. I got a bum leg, so I wouldn't be any good in a fight. But, of course, this was what set me off. That he had to say, of all things, Nazis controlled the corporations. We call that socialism. I know everyone in the chat can see the glaring problem with saying that. Very literally. Oh my god. He was destroyed from the beginning. Like, everyone's tearing his ass up about this. Like, they were married together under fascism. Because very literally, corporations would not exist under socialism. And it just kept going and going. And Tim Starwin got brought in it. Hey, Jimmy Durr. How's it going? A few people hopped in, and I love it. Like I said, I got some followers from this, because this was fun. I held my own. And, of course, the bottoms thing, that got me into trouble. I'm sorry. I still apologize. I denounce and reject myself. I will take whatever lashings I need to. Wired up refers to bottom being tied up. Actually, it refers to the fact that I'm usually doing this insanely tired. And I'm trying to get myself hyped up. I'm going to have a theme song eventually, too. I'm going to go through my old recordings and try to find a song that I think would be worthwhile. It's going to sound like shit. And one of these days I'll record a legit version of it. You know, if things work out. But I have some ideas what I want to do. I want to get this more official. More podcast-like. Hell, I have an opening line now. How about that shit? Tim's is the best person for the Nazis. We're socialists. Actually, nonsense. He really is. He really is. He's nailing him on everything. And the fact that he's a literal historian is like... And this guy goes, oh, well, I have an historian. And like... It's this guy, Wagner. And Tim's called him out. He's like... He's got no credentials. He just calls himself a historian. Just like, boom. There are several times now that he just absolutely shit the bed. And it's been fun. So I kept myself pretty preoccupied doing that all day. Not the best way to preoccupy your time, but it was kind of a back and forth day at work. I've been working fuck ton too. Some guy said Tim's needed to go back to school. And one of my threads, one of the maggots who can barely read. All right, you go ahead and You go ahead and shower. I'll allow it. Just be sure to come back just in case I get any trolls. I might have to get another mod. Yes, he knows a lot about Nazis. He knows a lot about a lot of shit. It's I've been talking to that guy for a few years now. He is fucking great. Love that dude. They're actually yellow. I don't know why this reacts to that. I think it's because my green screen is very light colored green. So, no, Tim's. Or as Sam pronounces it, Thames Darwin. Pronounces it wrong. But it's Sam, so we get it. We get it. I actually, I forget. He's told me his name before, and I completely forget. Tim's is unironically one of the smartest people I know. He is so fucking smart. I love that dude. Like anytime that like I feel like I'm not holding my own, and I see he's in there. If he's not in there, and I know I need like some historical knowledge, I pull back and I tag him. I was like, "What do you think?" Or if he's in there, I just kind of sit back and I go, "You're right. He did use that for Doomed. I forgot about that." I like to keep things simple, and refer to him by how he's known on the interwebs. No need to drag his name through the dirt. That is my stream, where I cuss and I talk shit about streamers who are way more famous than I am. I've talked a little bit. Jay Shivone is definitely very smart. Bullprog, I have not talked to much at all. I need to talk to Bullprog more. I love what Bullprog did for that Majority Report remix. I think that's great. Makes me laugh every damn time, and it gets stuck in my head. That's the signs of a good jingle song, at least, we'll say. Not my cup of tea, but a good jingle. Oh, man. Let's see here. I want to see if they found out anything more about the shooting in Pennsylvania. I think I'm following them. I'm not entirely sure. I need to look that up. I know I'm following the Left is Best channel. That God, what's his name? Desmond Suga, I believe. I'm so bad with this stuff. Oop. Excuse that. Phone ringing. I really want to find out. I really want to find out what's going on with. Yeah, Desmond Suga. Okay, got it. Got it. What is Aleppo? Let me just kind of check this out, see if there's any new news about that, because that just happened as I was starting the stream. The unfortunate thing is, it looks like it was police being shot, and get ready for it, guys. Get ready. I have a feeling this is going to be something that's going to be blamed on us. Of course, based on what violent rhetoric? None. So, basically be ready for hearing about this and the guy from Dayton still. Because even though we've already debunked that, they always bring it back up. They always go, well, that was your guy. And as I said last week, that dude was just a shitty grindcore kid. I've known those people. And it doesn't matter what their politics are. Most of them don't actually vote. They just, You know that that stereotype that right wingers have about like male feminists, where you're like, oh, they're just doing it to pick up chicks. Very literally, those types of dudes are that. They exist. It's unfortunate, but we got to call it out what it is. That dude was a misogynistic fucking asshole who thought he was way tougher and way, you know, way more edgy and bought into his own edge than anyone. Just because he claimed to like some left-wing politics doesn't make him left-wing, nor does it make him any sort of ally of ours. The problem here is, well, this is going to be harder for us to argue against. We'll have to figure something out. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to have to, we're going to see the brunt of this. God, is anything updated? Okay, Fox 8, local news. Local news is the best. It's usually the best source. We're not going to know anything this soon. It's unfortunate. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump started tweeting out that, you know, it was, you know, either blaming it on Muslims or using terms to mean black people. It was probably more than anything gang related or just general crime related. So same with eco-terrorists. The El Paso shooter talked about the environment, but in a right-wing frame, like we are destroying it, so we need to get rid of immigrants and minorities. Yeah, he's totally leftist. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this. Look at this cop hiding behind kids. Operation Human Shield over here. They're going to blame us. Just be ready for it. Is that... did no one did die on that? I hope not. I think I saw five people injured, and they were all officers. That's a real worry of mine. They were serving a warrant. Not sure if you saw that. I did not. I was trying to find out more information. Like I saw the news of it just before I went on, so I have no idea. Article said 6 in stable condition. Okay. You know, I don't want them to be shot. I'm glad they're alive. But all cops are bad. I'm sticking with that. God, I know there was a number of things I wanted to talk about. Trying to find some videos or something. I had the Destiny thing, and that was my big screed. I'm gonna be watching this later. I'm super excited for this. Lindsay Ellis. I have been following Lindsay Ellis since she was the nostalgia chick. I fucking love her. She's gotten so insanely good, and she's the subtle left tuber. She doesn't outright say her politics all the time, but she alludes to it. She's really good at it, though. Yeah. Even if that was during serving a warrant, and even if nobody died, we all know they're going to blame it on the left because it was cops that were shot. They're going to say, oh, your rhetoric and Black Lives Matter. That's what caused this. And you're Antifa. Fuck you. Like, if we actually had anything close to that rhetoric on the left, I'd like to think that we would own up to it. But even then, would it even fucking matter? It's all just a bad faith argument. It's all to avoid blame, and they'll never accept it. They know how much blood is on their hands because we keep reminding them. They just don't care. So they always feel like they need to do this projection of, well, if they're going to defend their side, and I'm going to say it again. I keep saying it. I'm going to say it again. Right-wingers would much rather talk to the straw man that they make of us than actual leftists. Because actual leftists, they can't handle. Because we say things that they don't think of. For example, we would denounce him if he was on the left. I denounce that fucking Dayton guy. I call him what he is, though. Shitty edgelord. If this person turns out to have some left-wing cop bias, we'll denounce that too. We won't pretend like he wasn't one of us. Like they do on the right. That El Paso guy. Shit. I told you guys a few weeks ago about my buddy who voted Trump and thought he was playing this game by posting these Own the Libs memes. Here in 2019 with, all the concentration camps and such. Well, when the El Paso thing happened, another friend who we have mutual friends with posted blaming Trump because obvious reasons. And he got in there. He's like, well, I don't know how you could blame Trump. Like, everyone's telling him over and over again. I got in there. I'm like, dude, the guy was literally shooting people that he thought were Mexican. And saying he had a whole screed online. I don't know why I keep saying screed tonight. It's my word of the day. But he had this whole manifesto online where he talks about the invasion. And I got to give my buddy some credit. I think he realized how much I take this seriously and how informed I am. That I don't care that his business got tax cuts because we are living in a hell world and we need to fucking fix it before it all breaks down and we go fully into fascism. To his credit, he said invasion, right? I'm like, yes. He goes, I do remember watching a video where Trump laughed at one of the audience members saying that they were going to shoot immigrants. He's like, yeah, that's incitement. Thanks for telling me that. And since then, I haven't seen him post anything defending Trump. I don't know if it broke through to him based off of that. I don't know if I had an effect. It seemed like it. It's too early to tell. It's too early to take credit for anything. It's too early to say maybe he's changed. But something was definitely brewing in his head when he had that realization. A lot of these MAGA chuds, I'm just going to go into this. A lot of these MAGA chuds are unreasonable. They're completely unreachable. The guys that voted straight on with the racism, the guys that are still defending the concentration camps and calling them detention centers and saying, well, they shouldn't have broke the law. Those guys are fucking lost. The guys talking about white replacement, those guys are fucking lost. The The guy's talking about, well, I run a business. I mean, I don't agree with everything he does or says, but I run a business and I like those taxes. Those people, a little bit easier to reach, I think. Especially when they see what a fraud all that is. The Dow was down 600 points today. All this fluctuating in the market. Trump's trying to roll back some of his trade war policies to hopefully combat that. But I keep saying this. The road we're on. How's it going? Excuse my sarcasm. Evening. The road we're on. We're on it. We're heading for disaster. 2008 was bad. It's going to get a lot worse. And I try not to think about it, honestly. Because, I mean, as a, not poor person, lower middle class, as that person in that level, trying to bump myself up, trying to help myself to achieve. It's too much to think about, because something like that, if it can reach my doorstep, would destroy me. It would destroy a lot of people. If it can destroy me, it can destroy a lot of people. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but it's not a matter of if anymore, I don't think. Should Elizabeth Warren, for all her bad issues, has been calling this out lately. She's been explaining exactly how it's going to happen. It's going to happen like 2008 and more. Imagine the housing crisis plus a student loan crisis plus a medical debt crisis all compacting on one another. Not to mention a housing crisis that was never fixed back in 2008. 11 fucking years ago. Obama didn't fix it. So I don't know, man. I don't know where we're heading. Ooh, let's check this out. Oh shit. This is going down. Sam Cedar versus Neera Tanden. Accusing him of doxing. Are you fucking kidding me? That was public information. The guy outed himself. Huh. Sam says, considering the nature of what I've been doing professionally for 15 years, I'm very sensitive to doxing. That's not what doxing is, but maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. That is not doxing. This past week, we've had now 2 very, very stupid misinterpretations of what doxing is. It's not doxing to release publicly known information about donors to people. It's not doxing when you release publicly known information about someone who poses as a moniker, got on the news, and has previously outed himself as being who he is. That's not doxing. He volunteered that information. I've seen the tweets from him that said this. He's linked his LinkedIn account. It's not doxing. They are very afraid of Bernie. And it shows. Part of me loves it. Part of me is a little scared. I'm going to be honest. Because these people, they fucking hate Bernie. to no end. They don't seem to understand what their hate is. They just hate him. I had another interaction yesterday with this guy who claimed he used to be a Bernie Sanders supporter, but he learned his ways. He learned. He was wrong. He was wrong then. He's right now. Which is why he's completely denying the facts of what happened in 2016. And he ended it with the most patronizing fucking thing. Of course. Oh no, this happened today. I'm sorry. I had another one. That guy that I was just talking about was actually dealing with Kennedy. I'm just like, this fucking guy again. And I got a lot to scroll through because of this socialism explainer. Got it. So much. There it is. So this person, originally, the tweet was removed because everyone was replying. But she was talking about how Bernie voted for or they were talking about how Bernie voted for the crime bill. And that was funny. Because as we all know, he voted against it in 91, and he voted for it in 94 because they attached the Violence Against Women's Act to it. A very dirty trick, because he knew if he voted against that, they would have ran against him, not only on the crime bill, but also that he hated women. That would have come up now. If he would have stood his ground and voted against the 94 crime bill, you know what you would hear now? Oh, Bernie Sanders. It's just more proof that he's just such a misogynist. Based on fucking nothing, of course. And we got the repercussions of the crime bill. All of which to defend Kamala Harris, who is very literally the personified version of the crime bill. So this person originally tweeted, the tweet that's removed, that, well, I don't think we should be, I think we should listen to the person who has to enact these, rather than the person who voted for it. And I was like, you mean Joe Biden? And this person, starts out typical. Bernie voted for the bill. He voted for the Violence Against Women's Act that was put into the bill. He denounced the crime bill, but wanted the Violence Against Women's Act implemented. Huge difference there. He voted for the crime bill of 94, and he campaigned and being tough on crime because he voted for the crime being on 94, tired of the excuses. The man is a liar and a fraud. The young and naive voters will believe everything he says because he offered you free things. The young and naive voters. I am so fucking tired of that. Who do I think's going to win in 2020? I don't know. Probably not Trump, though. I'm hoping for Bernie. But it's not going to be Trump. But I love that. This is probably the third time this week. Look at the polls. Look at the polls. This guy says, look at the polls. Look at the polls for Trump. Buddy. Shitty Joe Biden is beating Trump right now. Look at the polls. You first. I thought you guys didn't believe in polls. Holy shit. What the fuck are you doing here? Come up with a better argument. Then we'll talk. Bernie and Biden are beating Trump on every poll. Polls proved to be irrelevant in 2016. Actually, they were fairly accurate. You know, but what they don't predict is the it doesn't predict the electoral college. They were fairly accurate about the popular vote, which is it's a lot easier to measure a popular vote of an entire country than it is to measure out like the specific states, especially in close states like the one I live in. You're going to have a little trouble saying the things that you're saying because we're a lot smarter than you. I can already tell. I don't even need to see anything more that you're saying to know that you're not that intelligent, but you think you are. But you're not. And I'm not even going to read what you're saying. I'm just going to say, because I know you're going on this dialogue tree. 99%, 90%, whatever you put in there. It's like I said, I'm not reading it. Ain't 100. And it ain't 100 for a reason. Things happened. A lot of things happened. Made it very close. People stayed home. That does not make Trump popular. You guys also said that the blue wave wasn't going to happen, and it did. So where is your God now? Anyways, back to what I was saying. So I seriously, it drives me nuts. This is the third time this week that I've had to explain. I let it blow past me. It's all this, well, you're a millennial. Clearly, you're young and naive. Motherfucker, I'm 34. I'm married. Like, I've been married for a lot longer than you've even known about Bernie Sanders. I'm ignoring him. So, I'm not young by any measure. I wish I was. I don't feel young. I'm not old either. I'm in that shitty in-between area. But this whole idea that, well, millennials are in their young 20s. I'm so fucking sick of that. Generation Z, the Zoomers are in their 20s. But they still think that they're children. They're adults now. I'm sorry, but the millennials are becoming the old people now. And we're fucking sick of this shit. But to go on, I included the speech where Bernie Sanders denounced the crime bill, talked about all the damage, predicted exactly the damage that was going to happen from the 94 crime bill, and did. And of course you're from Michigan. If he says anything too out of line, you can go ahead and let him go, but... Oh, no, you gotta go? Oh, shit. I thought they were saying, yeah. Well, if I have to, oh, God. First of all, I said if you got too out of line. Second of all, buddy, I got some secret. Come here. I'm not a liberal. Most of us in here are not liberals. You walked in the lion's den, bud. Yeah, I was really confused about this point of attack. I love it. Every single time these right wingers come into my stream, it's like, oh, you're all these fucking liberals. Dude, liberals fucking hate me. This guy that I'm talking about right now, that's a liberal. That's a liberal. And he don't like me at all. Not too out of line by any standard. If anything, you're shutting down debate rather than encouraging, according to your politics tag. I didn't say I had to debate, bud. I will if I want to. I'm not in the mood. You know, I'm letting my chat handle it. They're all very smart. I love that. They literally are. Like I said, I didn't even read anything that you said before this. Before these past couple comments. And I already had responded to them. That's how like dialogue tree all of your responses are. Like if I started talking about socialism, I know you're going to bring up, 100 million dead. Venezuela. Mao. What about the USSR? What about China? It's all along the dialogue tree. It's much easier talking to your straw man fixation that is leftist, isn't it? So we already know all of your tricks, bud. We've answered it 10,000 fucking times. And it doesn't change the facts that we're already stating. You may not have gone into any... what's the point of this stream? One-sided politics. No wonder there's 15 views. Well, it's not for everybody, but there's a point to it. Just maybe not for you. So I'm going to tell you things you don't want to hear. I'm not going to powder your bottom for you and send you on your way and be like, oh, jolly good show. We just disagree. Nah. I'm going to call it like it is. You're not going to like it. Another stream I mod, good old here, was telling people their moral compass was off. I pointed out that a personal attack, he couldn't even grasp that. So you have been getting around. Well, bud, you got busted. It's what fucking happens. Life involves taking sides. That's politics. Welcome to reality. Oh, Igloo. He isn't a distraction. So, 600 seconds. Check out that timestamp, motherfucker. I don't mind powdering bottoms. Moisture wicking is important, but I like power bottoms. Of course. So, should we have a nice up close and personal talk with him now that he can't talk to us for 600 seconds? Okay. So, here's what I want you to know. First of all, like I said, we ain't liberals. Liberals fucking hate us. We're leftists. That involves everything from the sock dems to the damn near communists. Not even damn near. You're not going to come in here and hear MSNBC You're not going to come in here and hear CNN. We don't watch that bullshit because we don't like that shit either. And they don't like us. So, what did you think was going to happen when you came in? How did you think this was going to go? Did you think I wasn't going to point out that, hey, I don't know who's going to win the primary right now, but I do know who's going to win the general, and it ain't Trump. We're going blue, buddy. Mitch McConnell is at 34%. Donald Trump might be barely in the high 40s. According to some polls. It depends. But where it counts, he doesn't have the votes. The blue wave happened. Senate was not in play. This ain't 2016. We're going for the fascists. You either get out of our way, or you get rolled. There. Oh, God. Fuck off. There's nothing worse than a sore loser. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to debate him purely for the fact that I've heard all this before. He is boring. This dude is fucking boring. I glanced at a couple of the things he said, and we've heard it all 10,000 fucking times from the same people. The same morons blasting out the same talking points that could be easily debunked by a simple Google search. There's too much time that has passed to prove them that wrong. That they need to still keep fucking that chicken and expecting it to pop out a golden egg. It's not going to happen. I'm not here for it. I want to talk about some fun stuff. Like this fucking liberal. Yeah. Apparently, living in Michigan makes me bad. Because, yeah, Michigan barely went for Trump. By the way, speaking of states that won't be going for Trump again, Michigan is one of them because we have suffered a lot under this motherfucker. And we're fucking pissed. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yep. Of course, ignores that I literally owned him because I pointed out, it's like, I didn't help elect Trump. I voted against him. I didn't vote for Jill Stein. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I held my nose and I fucking did it. Because that's my civic duty. To not allow fascists in office. I tried. We all tried. I said, also, Clinton abandoning us and Wisconsin after the primary didn't help. Not sure what any of this has to do with anything. You just know you don't have a point and are grasping at anything that you think sticks. And he says, poor you, blah, blah, blah. How selfish Sanders supporters are. Or there are... This guy, his typing is fucking awful. There are kids in cages and our country is burning down thanks to Bernie and his supporters. And I'm like, yeah, how selfish of me to point out Clinton lost a ground game to a reality TV host. Take the L and walk away, bud. That was their chance. And it got worse. It's selfish of you to not know that Bernie should have got his ass out after Super Tuesday. But he continued to criticize and damage Hillary Clinton. You people are heartless and you are no different from Trump supporters. We're heartless. You want us to vote for Joe Biden, the guy who worked with Barack Obama to not completely fix the housing crisis, who basically tanked the ACA to make it a complete power grab for the market, the insurance market, and basically shit on poor people. Okay, I'm generally just trying to get opinions on why people hate Donald Trump. I don't need to be called a racist. You need to know why people don't like Donald Trump. And we can't say the word racist. Really. I mean, it's kind of difficult to talk about the very literal concentration camps going on in this country, the complete terrorization of not just illegal immigrants, but legal immigrants in this country, without using the word racist. I could talk about how he's basically tanking our legislative, our excuse me, not our legislative state, but our regulative state. How he's causing the USDA to basically disband by moving it across the country for no fucking reason, causing several of the people who work for him, who are scientists, who guard our food, who guard, everything we consume, to quit. Because they're being asked to move away from where they're most effective. We could talk about how he's still bombing the shit out of Yemen and how drone strikes have increased more at this point than Obama did in 8 years. We could talk about how that has increased civilian deaths umpteen times over what we've ever done. And you notice, and there's more. You notice I did not say the word racist. I did not call you a racist. I didn't call him a racist. I said it was hard to not say the word racist when talking about the concentration camps. But that being said, there still are definitely a lot more things that we can criticize him on that make people hate Donald Trump. And you should hate him too. There's the trade wars. The trade wars that are literally fucking tanking the economy. There's the fact that he's using his position in the White House to advance moneyed interest for himself and his kids. How about that? Pick your favorite. He is a mockery of what the United States was supposed to be. We've never hit that point, and we're not going to hit it under Donald Trump. Exactly, Admiral Praxis. And we're heading that way. Dow Jones is at 600 points down. Oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, let me tell you, the stock market only affects rich people. Yeah, we're at record low unemployment rate. We're also at record low wages. We also have people working several jobs just to get by. Overworked. Gig economy. And you think that's not going to crash? And what's Trump doing to stop it? Fuck all. So when you ask that question, I can easily answer without using the word racist, calling you a racist, or saying that he's a racist. Because there's so much more. There's so much more. How about we talk about what he's doing to women's health? How about we talk about what he's doing to the LGBTQ community? I could talk about that shit all day. Blocking food stamps to legal immigrants. I don't know if he's the worst president we've ever had. I go back and forth on him and Bush now. Early on, I said he hadn't reached that point. It's getting to the point where whoever is voted in after him is going to be spending all their fucking time trying to undo the shit that he did. Yes. And then I could tell you, yes, If you're still supporting him after all that shit, because it's clear that it's no longer about politics or economics. There's no more economic argument here because he's destroyed the economics. Our economy is going down the shitter. So it's no longer that. People are losing their jobs, yes. People are getting laid off and having to work at fucking Walmart. They had good union paying jobs working at Walmart now. So the economy is going down. If you're still supporting him now, there is no other reason to support him except the racism, except the white supremacy, except the white nationalism. So now I will say, there's a pretty good fucking chance, just an inkling of a possibility, a hope within a dream, that you motherfucker are racist. I hope you liked your answer. I've had a very, very yelly stream today. Kind of needed that. It's been a past few weeks. But we're wired up. We're killing it. We're going strong. I wanted to get warmed up really early. So, I did. Practiced some things in my car this morning. Yeah. So I always feel like when I'm just getting into it, I have to stop. So I got myself amped up like a motherfucker now. And I think the new name helped. But this motherfucker who said that Bernie didn't do enough to help Clinton is a joke. And it shouldn't matter that I'm from Michigan. It should matter more, actually, that I'm from Michigan. Because he should want me to help vote out Trump. Instead of coming to me and blaming me for Trump being in the White House. Which, motherfucker, I tried to stop him. I also told you guys the guy who was more likely to beat Trump. Hell, Bernie also tried to get someone else who could actually beat Trump. And Elizabeth Warren. And none of y'all motherfuckers want to listen. Man, fucking liberals, man. I tell you. They lost their goddamn minds after 2016. Oh God, this shit with this moron trying to explain socialism to everybody is still going on. I do love this battle between Neera Tanden and Sam Cedar. They are running scared of Bernie. I told you all you needed to know, man. There's probably some things I even missed. But I unturned a lot of stones. Like I said, if you're still supporting Trump now, what else is there but the racism? It ain't the economics. He didn't get out of the wars. The wall? The fucking wall. You ain't getting a wall. I'm fully expecting there to be a lot more people on the Majority Report tomorrow viewing him. These guys are giving fucking Sam Cedar views. Because there's going to be a combination of people who are like, this is bullshit and this guy sounds legit. And The people who are like, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to fucking tell him. I'm going to tell him what's what. I'm going to call into his show. Bring it on. I'm sorry, then. I hope you're not for him. I don't think it should take you this long to learn why you shouldn't be for him. I will say that. At this point, there are a lot more reasons to never vote for that man, to never even look in his direction, to spit on his fucking grave when he dies, to drag your balls across it and take a big steaming shit on top of it, and pick it up and smear it in the faces of his children. A lot more reasons to do that than to ever think about voting for him. Hands down. Let me tell you why I'm doing this. Let's talk about that point. Do you think I defend Obama? I don't. There are a lot of things that Obama did that led to what Trump is doing now. I don't defend Obama. I don't know why people think that just because I'm on the left, I'm going to defend Obama like people on the right defend Trump. It's not how this works. I'm not here to tell you that Obama is good. I'm here to tell you that two wrongs don't make a right. What Obama did was wrong. Uh-oh. I'm sure your parents are very conservative, and they probably told you, oh, don't talk to the leftists. Don't talk to them. They all have, they all think exactly the same. They're all going to just defend Obama and tell you how much they love him. I did not love Barack Obama as a president. I do not think he was our best serving president. Unfortunately, and he's very problematic too, but in my lifetime, it was Bill Clinton. I'm not going to defend him either. That sack of shit can rot in jail with the remnants of Epstein, as far as I care. But he was effective. He knew how to lead. He got a lot done. Not really for the left, but he got stuff done. He wasn't a shit show like Bush, and he wasn't an absolute simp like Obama. Welcome to the stream, Cold Corium. Who would you have voted for if you voted? I'm guessing since you didn't vote, you were probably a displaced Bernie voter. Go ahead and take that guess. That's unfortunate. What has he done since being elected that would make you want to vote for him? The economy's in the shitter. The wall isn't being built. He's using the office to personally enrich himself and his children. Illegally. I appreciate that, B-Rat. At least you're willing to listen. I can tell you, hands down, Trump may end up being the worst president in my lifetime. I'm 34. I was through Bush. Bush was fucking awful. But what Trump is doing to the government currently, good Lord. Your parents will never admit it. They are a part of a tribe. I know it really sucks to think about this. I have the same problem with my parents and them. I try to sell them on Bernie. They are steadfast against Bernie. Oh boy. Cold thinks that those tax cuts were for him. Hey, bud. All of our taxes went up. Unless you're a millionaire or a billionaire, your taxes went up because all our deductions went away. And you think that's a good thing? Oh, this guy's sad. You think that's a good thing? You think decreasing the risk pool in health insurance, so having more people pay into insurance, is a good thing. Let me explain to you how insurance works, because healthcare is my wheelhouse. That is a major wheelhouse for me. Everybody pays in, the money gets spread out, services get paid for. Technically how it's supposed to work. How it works in the private insurance industry is when you add the profit model. The purpose of a private insurance company is to block care. They're the only business model that is effective by not being used and being paid for by people who don't need it. I mean, you should have health insurance. Because just because you're young doesn't mean you can't get hurt. Shit, I've had 2 surgeries, in the past 5 years. Shit happens, man. You're young and healthy now. That's asinine. It's not forward thinking. It's not smart. If you want to be around, let me tell you. First of all, you need to get health insurance. I know it's expensive. I understand. But if that really bothers you, if that really is a problem, that really, really bothers you, I've got the solution for you. See, come here. Okay, so let me tell you about this thing that's happening. There's this thing where everybody just gets covered for a mere fraction of the cost. And it all comes from one payer. Everyone pays into it once a year. Just once a year. And it's way cheaper. That everyone just gets it. It's completely paid for. It fucking works. Other countries have it. And it works great for them. Because we have the shittiest healthcare right now. And they have way better healthcare than us. It's called Medicare for All. And Trump hates it. Vote Bernie, baby. Vote Bernie. You think installing another right-wing activist judge is protecting the Supreme Court? Buddy, we're in a position where, Kavanaugh is insanely impeachable. Like, insanely impeachable. You get an actual left-wing government in there, he's gone. I'm telling you. And no more taking away women's rights. That's not protecting the Supreme Court. That's destroying it. Oh, you think liberals are condescending? I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I told the last guy, buddy. This house ain't liberal. You're in the far left right now. Well, at least according to the U.S., we're actually pretty central. We're like left of center on the political spectrum, but compared to what you guys think, because you guys are like way the fuck over there on the right, about to fall off a damn cliff into straight up fascism, we are crazy left wing. But nah, I ain't no liberal. I don't know if I need to put that in my description or what, that I'm not a liberal. It says left wing politics. It does not say liberal. Liberal is not left wing, buddy. Brad, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is what you will not hear from your parents or anyone else or even the news. Let me explain to you what happens under Medicare for All. Yes, your taxes will go up. Let's say your taxes go up $100 a year. Oh my God. Like if everyone's taxes go up like $100 a year. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a progressive tax. It's mostly going to affect the rich. It's going to be a tax on Wall Street speculation. That's the most popular way of paying for it that I've heard. But let's say your taxes go up $100 a year. Now I'm going to let you a little inside secret. Me and my wife currently pay, what is it? It's about $200 a paycheck. So we pay about like $400 a month for our insurance. And that doesn't include copays. And copays can get expensive. That also doesn't include what we pay for prescriptions. And that can get expensive. And that doesn't include if we have to go to the hospital. That's a huge copay. Let me tell you, if you go to the hospital and it's an emergency, like, oh my God, got hit by a car. Under my really good insurance, it's $250. That's a lot of money for normal people. And I'm normal people. So, let's say we just talk about my deductible, using me as an example. Just me and my wife are on the insurance. And Cold, you can hear this too, because, you know, if you're actually open to actually hearing something that you wouldn't hear from the liberals, pay attention. I'm going to tell you some things. Because like I said earlier, this is my wheelhouse. I used to work in healthcare. I know a lot about insurance. My wife works in healthcare. I have a future in healthcare. So we're going to lay it out flat. So let's say your taxes go up $100. Currently, I myself, for the two people with really good fucking insurance, we are paying, let's do the math, 4 times 12, 24, so $4,800 a year just for deductibles. I may have my math wrong. I'm not great at math, I will admit. But that's a lot of fucking money, let me tell you. To come out of your paycheck every year, to come out every single time you get your paycheck, it's a lot of fucking money, let me tell you. That shit adds up. Versus $100 paid on your taxes once a year. Like I said, it's not going to be that. It's probably going to be less for normal people. Unless you're doing a lot of Wall Street speculation, you ain't paying that much. For the peace of mind to not have any copays. So at the point of service, it is free. Liberals won't tell you that. The point of service, the healthcare is free. You go home without a bill. One of the largest drivers of debt in this country is medical debt. Now you're going to get sick. You're young now, man. You and cold, you're both young. But you're going to get sick. Or you're going to get hurt. Happens to all of us. You have no idea what's coming down the pipe. Wouldn't you rather like to have the security of knowing that you can just get, rather than having to worry about scrambling to hopefully not get a multiple thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of $1,000 bill because you did something? Med4A would actually demolish my state. It wouldn't, though. What state do you live in? And I'll explain to you exactly how it wouldn't demolish your state. YouTube just became my pet project. Go ahead. What state do you live in? Not trying to dox you. Don't have to get specific about your city or anything like that. Just have to say, what state do you live in? I live in Michigan, for example. My state would greatly benefit from it. In fact, I can't figure out a state that wouldn't benefit from it. There's very literally no way. Insurance company employ thousands in Connecticut. State budget, suburbia, downstream industries, local businesses all depend on them and their employees. Well, let me tell you something. Why is there no reason? Why is there not a reason why these people can't then take their expertise and then work for the state? Work to expand Medicare for all, to make it work as a system. That wouldn't demolish your state. That would be a new job. And regardless to all of that, because not all of them are going to get jobs, I'll freely admit that. I will freely admit that. But let me tell you a little story about industries that we used to have that everyone was like, oh my God, this is going to ruin it. Let's think about that. I'm sure you ride in your parents' car or you have a car. I don't know. I don't know how old you are exactly. Do you give two shits about the horse and buggy creators? What are they going to do about their jobs if these automobiles take off? What are they going to do? Has nobody thought about the poor horse and buggy makers? Except make it about life and death. I don't give two shits about what they do after that. They can go work for the state. It's not going to demolish your state. They'll find other jobs. That ain't the only thing in Connecticut. They will be retrained. You want to know why? You want to know with what else? Because also, with Bernie, we get free community college. They can go to school for something better. Maybe they could go to school and become a nurse or something. They're going to need more workers in the healthcare once it expands to everybody. Problem solved. You shift your focus. It's an answer for everything. And all these are far more cheaper than what we're doing now, which is basically letting people either die or, well, get taxed to death. Or, deaded to death. Very literally. And since I'm on that rant, let me explain to you how it's cheaper. This is a thing that like people don't want to grasp. There are people like to talk about, okay, people love to talk about the drivers of the expenses on our healthcare system. They love to talk about how non-payment. Let me tell you, there are 3 ways of non-payment that do increase the price of our healthcare as it currently stands as a private system. You know the first 2. Everyone knows the first 2. Okay? Non-payment is 1. You know, person can't afford to pay their bill. That adds up. Get that. There are 3 forms. So non-payment of the patient. There's God, I lost my train of thought on the second one. But either way, the third one that they always forget is denial of coverage. If your insurance company decides that they don't want to pay, that they shouldn't pay, which is a part of their business model, that's how they make profit, that goes to you. And that turns into your non-payment. Now, it doesn't sound like a huge deal to someone who's young and healthy at the moment. But to someone who's like in there getting like cancer treatment, the idea that all of a sudden your insurance company goes, no, sorry, your cancer treatment's too expensive. You know, we can't pay it. Or we found this loophole and we found a way to deny you coverage, which they can do. There is still nothing, even in the ACA, that is protecting against that. Now, there's another thing that drives up the cost that a lot of you guys like to completely miss. Liberals miss this. It's called overhead. Basically, the amount of paperwork that your insurance company arbitrarily makes every patient go through in order to get payment, if they cover it. If they don't go, we can't tell if this is an I or a 1 on page 365. Sorry, you'll have to fill these papers out again, and until then we will not pay. And we may only cover it at 50% after that because it took so long. Or, oh, we had to add interest onto it. Or any number of things. Insurance companies do this all the fucking time. And it's to discourage people from using their insurance. That ain't why he won our state. That isn't why he won Michigan. I hope you're paying attention, because I'm saying some very important shit that you're not going to hear from Trump. You're not going to hear from liberals. You're not going to hear from MSNBC. Nobody. You hear from somebody who's worked in the health insurance industry, who's worked in the healthcare industry, worked on both sides. So, when we're talking about overhead and how that increases the cost, it also increases the cost and when people don't receive their payments because of those I's and T's not being crossed and dotted properly in their eyes, arbitrarily. It's also, it also saves the hospitals and the providers from having to sort through those products. It also makes it easier for them to get paid. Let's think about something for an instance. Right now, the way our system works to pay out to providers is they have to basically wait for the payment to get approved and then sent to them. Which all those loopholes that I was just telling you about, they have to jump through. It's a crazy, sick and twisted amount. And I've had to do that. I've had to do that myself. Something that I knew was covered, and I went back and forth for damn near 4 years before my last insurance company, not even the one I have now, covered it. And it's not fun. It's not meant to be. So how that works now is doctors, hospitals have to wait for that payment. Under Medicare for All, it's on a payment schedule. It'll come at the same time every month. How does that lower costs? It's a whole lot easier to plan out your budget when you know when you're getting paid and that you're going to get paid, rather than putting it up to this roulette wheel and hoping that the insurer doesn't block the payment from your very good patient that you just helped. That's something you won't hear from Trump. Mostly because he's too stupid and he hasn't had to buy insurance his entire life. When you're that rich, you pay out of pocket, or it's given to you because you got the name. You're trying to listen to someone who's not a billionaire, but certainly a millionaire, tell you, a normal person, how something he's never had to buy works. It's pretty bad. It's not good to listen to that guy. So, what's your answer to that? I just laid out exactly how it's much more cheaper, how your taxes aren't going to go up that much, and how it saves not only the person receiving the care money, but also the providers. Why is increasing border security with the wall harmful? Why are we blocking people from coming in? Simply put, why are we blocking these people from coming in? They come here, they pay their taxes, they might work for us, and they might end up leaving. They might end up going home. Well, there's a reason for that. And I'll get into that. I'm not going to defend Barack Obama. I said that earlier. I know you guys think I'm going to. I knew you were going to grip onto that. Hey, you're young, so I'm going to spell this out for you. Sales tax is a tax. You go to the store and you pay sales tax, that's a tax. An immigrant is not walking in there and saying, oh, I'm illegal. And they're going, oh, you don't have to pay the tax now. That doesn't happen. So that's one part that they pay. The second is, if they get a job under a visa, they pay taxes. If they overstay their visa, they still pay taxes. It comes out of their paychecks. If they are here with a fake social security number, they get taxed. It comes out of their paycheck. The difference is they can't claim their taxes. They cannot get a refund at the end of the year. So their taxes go more into the system than they pay out to them. Yes, they pay federal income tax. I just explained exactly how they did it. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. They pay their taxes. It's been proven they are a boom for the economy. You're going to look up anything you want to. The right-wing sources are going to lie to you. I can show you. It has been proven. They pay their taxes. They are a benefit to society. There's no reason we should be blocking them from coming in, ever. Not to mention the fact that the people that are coming in currently are refugees. And the way that our refugee system works is you first have to be on U.S. soil in order to claim refugee status. So how can they claim refugee status from outside of the U.S. if they're not sneaking into here? That's not illegal. That's very literally the definition of a legal citizen of this country. Legal protected citizen. They're allowed to be here and they should be. That ain't hurting anyone. Are you afraid that they're going to come and take your job? I thought the world didn't owe you anything, Mr. Conservative. That ain't your job. If they're coming and taking your job, let me tell you, you weren't going to get that job in the first fucking place. You're not owed shit. And if you want to blame a system for that, you can blame capitalism for that. So, why is it bad that we're blocking immigrants from coming in? Why is it good that we're not letting them in? That's a better question. How does it help us to jail them, to starve them to death, to deny them basic human decency? How is that good? That's a better question. We're supposed to be a smarter and better country, and we are not that. Hands down. How is separating a child, some as young as, 4 months, from their mother or father, how is that good for us? It's just not true. Just this week, the state of Virginia is clashing with the feds attempting to resettle migrants in Virginia, citing financial burdens on schools and hospitals. That's a blue state. The feds, yeah. He comes in here and he says, the feds. Who the fuck are the feds? You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like citation needed, motherfucker. Let's take it at face value that what you're saying is true. Let's look into the story first. Why am I scoffing at you? I will bet that it is completely bullshit. Let's type it in. Virginia. Migrants. Migrant housing. Let's find a non-biased source. Jurisdiction should be compensated for any potential impact on local schools. In a part of the state that is home to a large Latino immigrant community, elected officials who also are saying they disapprove of the way the federal government has handled a historic wave of migration at the southern border, where children have been separated from their families and placed in squalid conditions inside crowded holding facilities. I am extremely concerned about your administration's policy of separating children from their families when they cross the border into the U.S. Fairfax County wants no part in this heartless practice. So it's very literally them saying they don't want a holding facility built in their city. Yeah. I found the Washington Post too. I'm a big fan of clicking the hyperlinks too. Yeah. It's because they don't want the fucking uh they don't want the detention centers. They don't want the fucking concentration camps. I don't know why I'm dancing around it. They don't want the Trump administration to build another concentration camp for children. That's what they're talking about. It's not the same fucking thing, bud. Get honest. That's why I scoffed at you. Because I knew it wasn't real. That resettle line actually sounds like some Nazi concentration camp justification line. Yeah. Yeah, it's you're right. It's a shelter. It's a shelter that they cannot leave, that is in squalid conditions, that they will be refused food and medical care from, and will probably die in. Sounds like a concentration camp to me. Oh, and what's this? Do you think there's a gender wage gap? Yes, I do. I know there's a gender wage gap. Yeah, that's serious. Dude, turn off Jordan Peterson. Turn off Jordan Peterson. That dude is bad for you. You're a young man. I'm guessing you're white, which is why you were drawn to him in the first place. Turn off Jordan Peterson. VA Dems are saying they'd be okay with it if the federal government compensated for any potential impact on local schools and hospitals. Do I have to go back to this article? Really? I really don't fucking want to. The Republican chair of Prince William's Board of Supervisors, starting with, so we've already discovered there's a lie there. It's not Blue Virginia. It's a Republican saying, your agency has a duty to provide for these children and should bear any cost for doing so rather than imposing them on local and state taxpayers. State taxpayers, excuse me. So, again, this is why I scoffed at you. Because very literally, you're wrong. Don't read just the headlines, read the article. You would have found out that no, it's not Democrats saying, oh, we'd be okay with it. It's literally Republicans in the state. The Democrats don't want it at all because they recognize what it is. It's a fucking concentration camp. There. You happy? Are you happy? You heard some facts there. Literally what I just read. Literally what I just read. What I just read. Here, I'll fucking show it to you. It's the same fucking story. Was it this one? Was it this fucking story? Here, I'll fucking find the quote for you. Jesus fucking Christ. Can't trust me? Look, Republican chair. The Republican chair. Your agency has a duty. There's the quote. Meanwhile, what are the Democrats saying? Let's scroll up a little. I am extremely concerned about your administration's policy of separating children from their families when they cross the border in the U.S. It's a heartless practice. The bipartisan agreement is they don't want the facility here, but the Republicans would be okay with it if they were compensated for it. Of course, the ever-principled Republicans. Right? It's a concentration camp. It's a place where a certain group of people, based on racial lines or political status, are being housed in squalor and terrible conditions with no... They can't leave. They can't just leave. They're not allowed to. That's a concentration camp. I will not hear it. B-Rad, that's a terrible point. That is a terrible point. And it's showing me a lot. Go where? Do you have any idea of the conditions that they were leaving in? What sort of conditions do you think would make someone want to up and leave their fucking home to walk 1,200 miles to the United States where they know that they're going to be imprisoned? What sort of conditions do you think they're leaving? And why would they do that? You think they want to go back to that? They already made the decision to leave something that is far worse than we could ever do. So this idea that they could just go back is fucking stupid. They're going to go back to what? Being roped up by the cartel and hung? Watching their family members die again? Are you fucking kidding me? That's why that's a dumb point. And we will never, no matter how cruel we get, we will never out-cartel the cartels. And Trump's trying. And the day we do that, you know what? We'll go from concentration camp to death camp. And my hope is we never reach that point. No, I do not believe there are any people, period, who do not have a right to stay in this country. Immigrants are a net boom for our economy. They help us. Having people here is good, whether they choose to stay or they choose to leave. We fucked their countries up by interfering in their elections, by deposing their democratically elected officials, and putting people in that are better for the U.S. Economic alignment. We bear some responsibility in that. Don't you think? So yes, I do not give two shits where they come from. They can come here and stay as long as they fucking want. If we were a truly free country, we would do that. If we were a truly good country, we would do that. If we were a truly fucking great country, we would do that. But we're not. Instead, we're jailing them. Children. We snatched up an actual U.S. citizen. We've done that how many times now? Someone who was actually born here, actually a U.S. citizen because he had brown fucking skin. A teenager. And put him through that shit. He lost 26 pounds and said he was tortured. Yes, I did cite that. Real fucking news. Here, let me fucking show you, motherfucker. I'm about to ban your ass because this is some fucking bullshit. You know, you're probably watching fucking Infowars or some bullshit. Well, I don't watch MSNBC. No, you watch fucking Alex Jones, where everything bad about Trump is actually good. Or if it's really bad, it didn't fucking happen. Yeah, okay, let me see your source for that. Let me see your source. Talking about this kid? Talking about this? Let's see where it says that his mom falsified anything. And regardless to it, we shouldn't be doing this to people either way. You don't want to be called a racist? You don't want to be called a fucking fascist? Stop defending this bullshit. This is what fascism looks like. Based on conflicting information on a visa his mother had used for him as a child. But he was born in the U.S. Unproven. And until you prove it, I don't give two shits what you say. And it's not like he's the only one. No, this is the same one. And this is under Obama. It's even worse now. But let's talk about the guy who was deported to Iraq. How about that guy? Because he died this week. Recent data suggests that thousands of U.S. citizens have been unlawfully deported or detained by immigration, customs, and enforcement. How many of those people do you think are white? Just out of curiosity, just kind of throw that out there. I don't care that she was born in Mexico. She has a right to be here. You don't have a right to tell her that she can't be here. There's nothing that gives you a right. When she comes here, she pays her taxes. I've already proven that. You can laugh at that all you want. They pay their taxes. She comes here, she works, she pays her taxes. She cares for her people. She does nothing wrong. And you're like, yeah, that fucking kid of hers who was actually born here needs to sit in prison for weeks and lose 26 pounds because we have no human decency anymore. Because she's an illegal person. Do you know how illegal crossing the border illegally is? It's a civil infraction. A civil infraction is exactly what you get for a speeding ticket. You want people deported and put in prisons where they're going to be starved to death, treated like shit, beaten, raped? You don't even know the full fucking story. And regardless to all about that, you're still, like, they should be allowed to stay here anyways. I'm calling it. You're a fucking fascist. I'm tired of you. Bye. B-Rad, I want you to pay attention to that person. That was a fucking fascist. He is defending the treatment of people who should be allowed to be here, who are of no detriment to anyone here. It doesn't harm you to have immigrants here. It helps. Those people not only pay their taxes, they also spend their money in the same businesses, the local businesses that you claim to love. They are our economy, and they always have been. I let that guy stay in here too fucking long. Spreading that fucking fascist bullshit. So I'm going to go ahead and read this story, which by the way is from March 8th. From March 8th, before the Iraqi guy got deported. Not Iraqi guy, excuse me. U.S. citizen. The U.S. citizen who was deported because he was born in Greece to Iraqi parents and legally came here and overstayed their visa. They overstayed their visa. He was here from the age of 6 months. He was in his 30s. They deported him to Iraq. He had no money. He didn't even speak fucking Farsi. Couldn't even speak the language. He was diabetic. Do you know what happens to a diabetic when he can't get his insulin? When he can't control his diabetes? When he's living on the fucking street? Oh, let me tell you. He dies. That's exactly what happens. And that is the solution that morons like Cold, perfect name for his cold fucking black heart, that is the solution that they want. Because what they're really worried about is the white race being, genocided. Oh no, what if we become a minority to minorities? That is not what Trump is doing. That is not what Trump is doing. Absolutely not what Trump is doing. He is targeting these people. Whether they're properly citizens. And meanwhile, he's also making it harder to become a citizen. So don't even feed me that bullshit. You heard that from your parents. And I can tell you, your parents are lying. And they might be a little racist. You know what the hardest thing it is to accept? That your parents might be racist. It's hard to accept the flaws in your parents if you love them. But you got to do it. It's best to do it at a young age. I can tell you from experience. But this idea that they shouldn't be here is a joke. They're doing nothing wrong. Nothing. Do you want to know what they're doing wrong in the eyes of motherfuckers like Cold? You might not think so. You might not think so. But it's because you don't see it. And don't give me that, they have a black friend. Those are the type of people who would give me funny looks when I walk down the street with my wife. My wife is black. I know those people. I've been those people. I'm older and I'm smarter now. And you know what? My much more smarter brain is telling me to care about people and to recognize that it doesn't fucking matter how they got here. They're here. They chose to be here. I didn't choose to be here. I didn't choose to be born in the United States. I didn't choose to be born in this hellscape. I didn't choose to have student loan debt for a degree that wound up being worthless, foisted upon me. I didn't choose to be in a country that thinks that giving people health care is a bad thing and too expensive. But charging people hundreds of thousands of dollars for needed, necessary care is a bad thing. I didn't choose any of that fucking shit, nor would I. Those people chose to be here. And you should fucking honor that. Hands down. That's something you won't hear from your probably racist parents. And you should ask yourself why. And if you're not asking yourself why, then you need to grow up a little more. Come back to me when you're grown up. When you've lived a little. When you've saw what's out there. That is not what your parents said. That you're not going to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You're going to be held down. And it's not going to be the socialists or the leftists that are hurting you or the Democrats. It's going to be the conservatives. It's going to be capitalism. It's going to be the bullshit that they put in place. They have just as much a right to stay here. Probably more because they choose to than even us. That is the most American statement you will hear anyone say, that a person should have the freedom to stay here. That's freedom. None of this bullshit where we're jailing them. How many guards have raped people? The kids in these facilities. Seriously. It's been a lot. How many people have died already? It's been a small number so far, but it's going to go up. I'm sorry that I have the audacity to believe that we can be better than this. God forbid we be better than this. But, like I said, I didn't choose to be born here. I'm here now, so I'm going to fight my fucking hardest to make that happen. And I'm going to tell anyone who tells me differently the truth. I don't care if they're here illegally. So I'm going to tell you something else you're not going to hear from your parents or anybody. The law is not a moral justification. The law can be changed. Sometimes the law is wrong. The law used to tell me that I couldn't be married to my wife. And there's still people in this country who say that I shouldn't be married to my wife. I'm committing white genocide. We're going to have beautiful mixed babies and it's going to be awesome. But the law can change. It's no longer illegal for me to be married to my wife. And people still give me the side eye. The law can change. When the law needs to change, it changes. And in this case, the law changed for the worse and it needs to go for the better. It was bad under Obama, it's worse under Trump. You can change the law. It doesn't matter that they're breaking it. It doesn't even matter what level it is. It's a bad law. So aside from what you believe to be concentration camps, not what I believe to be. I'm going to show you something before we move on to that point. Concentration camp, a place where large numbers of people, especially political prisoners or members of persecuted minorities, are deliberately imprisoned in a relatively small area with inadequate facilities, sometimes to provide forced labor or to await mass execution. Sometimes. Now, it's often attributed to the Nazis. But do you know who invented the concentration camps? The good old US of A, baby. We did. Long before them in the 1800s. Now, let's take a look at the detention facilities. Let's look at these pictures. Let's just choose this one. This is video. Now we gotta wait for this fucking ad. And what do you know? Oh, it's an ad for weed. I ain't mad at that. Do your hustle. But could you do it a little bit faster? I got a show to run. Yes, sounds awesome.
We got about 260. So we got about 260, but those numbers fluctuate because we have people coming in and leaving.
Hi everybody, I'm here in southern Texas near McAllen. I'm at the Donna Holding Facility, which is a detention facility for migrants seeking asylum coming across the border. And I wanted to come here to figure out what was really going on. And it's clear that while there's been some real meaningful progress, there's a lot more work that needs to be done. I just talked to a woman who came in across the border this morning with her 5-year-old son who just turned 5 last week. She's been traveling for 9 months from Honduras. And the conditions at these facilities have improved quite a bit, but they're not up to the humanitarian standards that we demand. There's still so much more work to be done, and we also need to address the root causes of this problem, the corruption and violence and instability that exists in Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. We need to make sure that our American values are the ones we're showing at our border. We can keep our...
What did you notice in that video? Let's even find another one. Let's find the adults. Let's find that Mike Pence video. That's fucking great. What are you going to notice about this? You're going to notice that they are political prisoners of persecuted minorities in a place where large numbers of people in inadequate facilities. Let's find this. Here we go. Look at all these people. That's not a concentration camp, is it? No, no, no. Look at all them stuffed in here. You want to know what my favorite part is? When they try to lay down and they can't. That's how they're supposed to sleep. That looks awful concentration campy, doesn't it? So that's no longer what I believe to be a concentration camp. This is by definition. These are political minorities kept in a facility with inadequate help by large numbers, compacted into a small area. Look at them. Look. Look how much room they have. Brad. It's a concentration camp. And that's just one of the facilities. Now that's the vice president that your parents like. Did he look like he gave two shits about what was happening there? He was just looking at him like they're fucking cattle. You didn't debunk me. And the fact that you think that I'm not going to ban you again is a joke. You didn't debunk me. All of you saw it. He said specifically that what happened was her visa was wrong and she took it out in her son's name. That article didn't say that, did it? Said something completely different. Said it was miscommunication. Which is happening a lot. It's happening a lot with ICE. So let's go back to your question there, Brad. Aside from the actual concentration camps, what else is Trump doing that is racist? You could read. He didn't start it? Let's see if he started it. He might not have started it there, but oh. There was this. Where did send her back come from? It came from originally send them back. Till he realized he fucked up. Because 3 of the 4 people he was talking about were born here and U.S. citizens. Some of them, were second generation. Third generation. I think Rashida Tlaib's third generation. Her family's been here a long time. In Michigan. In Detroit. An hour away from me. I'm proud to have her representing my state. It came from Trump. The invasion rhetoric used by the El Paso shooter came from Trump. Remember, he started his entire presidential campaign. The rapists, the murderers, some, I assume, are good people. There's also this weird thing about black people and calling them stupid. That's a very odd thing to do. To only black people. Questioning their IQ. Talks a lot about his genes. He's called himself a nationalist. Now, nationalists if you know the definition of it, it is inherently racist. The whole group you're talking about dislikes everything about the U.S. Son, I dislike everything about the U.S. He's talking about the squad. Here's the thing. I told you earlier, I didn't choose to live here. I have a lot of problems with the way our country is right now. See, I choose to do things to change it. It doesn't matter that they dislike things about the U.S. or if they dislike everything, which is a joke. They're U.S. representatives. Clearly they like something, otherwise they wouldn't run to be U.S. representatives. Right? They're U.S. citizens. Clearly, they didn't leave to go anywhere else. They're here to fix this mess. They want to see this country be better. That's not a justification for telling them to leave. And go where? Yeah, AOC is Puerto Rican heritage. Two things. Puerto Rico is the U.S. Trump supporters seem to forget that. Trump himself seems to forget that. And B, she's from New York. Rashida Tlaib, I already told you. She's Palestinian, yes. Born and raised, third generation, United States. Ilhan Omar, not born here, a Somali refugee, brilliant woman, worked herself up here, worked here, chose to stay here, chose to become a representative here for the United States. She's a legal citizen, and she chose to make this place better. Yeah, the shithole countries thing was racist too, because he was talking about specifically African countries. And he said, why can't we get more good immigrants from countries like Norway? White countries. There's also, this thing from Ken Cuccinelli. This is kind of weird.
From #1 New York Times best-selling author David Baldacci.
I'm so sick of ads. I need to get an ad blocker. You're right, Trey. Hi, by the way. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. Oh.
And immigration for the Trump administration takes liberties with the state, with the Statue of Liberty's iconic poem. This is Ken Cuccinelli.
Would you also agree that Emma Lazarus's words etched on the Statue of Liberty, "Give me your tired, your poor," are also part of the American ethos?
They certainly are. Give me your tired and your poor who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge.
Adding that 2 feet part and the public charge part. That NPR interview comes a day after Cuccinelli.
That was weird. That was a weird thing to say. Let's see what else he said. That's a weird thing to kind of just add to a poem that's actually really well known. Let's see how he defended that. Let's find the quote. I would like to find the video, honestly. Do you think that every country in Africa is a poor country? If you do, you might be a little racist. I'm just saying. And I got that fucking ad. I'm trying to find it. Here's the video.
So the Trump administration is defending its latest immigration policy. With NPR, the acting U.S. Immigration Services Director responded to criticism that the move is in blatant disregard of an American ethos inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, taking in the poor instead. Ken Cuccinelli offered perhaps a reinterpretation of that poem, saying, quote, "Give me your tired and your poor, who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge." Well, he doubled down on that stance later on CNN.
Well, of course, that poem was referring back to people coming from Europe, where they had class-based societies, where people were considered wretched if they weren't in the right class. And it was written 1 year.
Yeah, they were talking about Europeans. Nothing racist there, except it ignores that not the whole world is from Europe. Why would it be just about Europeans? That's a weird take, isn't it? It's awfully strange. I found it. So, Trump defends that guy. Trump also defends Stephen Miller, who's also very racist. He also defends Steve King, who is openly a white nationalist. It's not just about the concentration camps, although that's a pretty bad one. That's pretty big. Can't tell me it's not. Face it, dude. If your parents are still supporting him in 2019, with the economy going down the shitter, with our trade war tanking everything, with us being the laughing stock of the world, with, the wars that he said he was going to end, he's increased the civilian casualties. With the wall not being built, because it's not going to be, because the wall is a fiction. And if you catch Trump at the right time, he'll admit it himself. There's only one thing left. And that's the racism. That's the, I enjoy what's happening to these immigrants. I do believe this country should be more welcoming to specifically white people. I do believe there's a white genocide going on. That is all that's left. Your parents are worried that they're going to lose something in their culture. In their white culture. I'm here to tell you, as a white man, living in a majority black city, grew up in an all-white family, in a very mixed school district, there is no such thing as white culture. Culture is divided as thinly as regions of a city. My city of Flint does not have the same culture as Detroit, or Saginaw, or Muskegon, or Mackinac, or way up in the UP. The same way, the state of Michigan has a different culture than, say, New York or Ohio overall. So this idea that this is white culture, there's no such thing. There's American culture. That's sure a thing. cultures can be divided up by states. They're mainly regional. Culture is regional. It's not divided along by race or people coming here from different places. People adapt to culture. Or they liven up the culture by moving their culture and merging it with ours. Whatever ours is. But it's not white. And it's not black. Well, there is black culture, but that's because we did that. I'm going to say that Latin culture. What is Latin culture? Do you think Guatemala has the same culture as El Salvador? As Brazil? No. Why would they? The only thing that's left for your parents to feel is a fear of losing out on their whiteness. And that the only way to do that is to get back at the dirty immigrants who are coming here. You have to ask yourself why. That's a smart thing to do. It's always a good idea to ask yourself why in any instance. You can ask me why I'm sitting here telling you this. It's because I've seen people like you go down the rabbit hole. The inability to accept that maybe your parents are flawed, maybe they're wrong about fucking everything. That's an important distinction. I'm going to leave you guys with that. It's late. I should have gone to bed already. I am very tired. But I'm going to send you guys over to somebody. Let's find somebody. Do we have a mic from PA? No. Brad, I'm going to tell you, if I can't break you, this person will. We are going to the mighty Hassan. And then we are going to go to bed. There's no agree to disagree, bud. Yeah, actual Mike does. He's under central _committee. He's actually doing really fucking well. I want you, Brad, to listen to Hassan. If he'll let you talk to him, talk to him. He'll be very patient with you. He's a lot smarter than I am, even. If you think I'm even smart. There's no agree to disagree, because these are facts. You see things a certain way. And you'll see eventually. Hopefully not before it's too late. You've been seeing it wrong. Thank you, everybody, for coming to Wired Up. I'll be back Saturday. Usual gaming stream. Sunday, another gaming stream. Follow me on Twitter to find out when I'll be streaming next. You guys have a wonderful night.
Most people just want immediate, like, most people want to escape politics. That's why they're, maybe not escape politics, but like escape the,
I'm out of control. I apologize for that.
Awfulness of reality that they experience on a daily basis, whether it be like bullying in school, or it be the like, just the understanding that you have to fucking pay your bills or whatever.
I'm
or
not God.
They have to wake up in the morning and go back to work and essentially become a lifeless cog in the system, working for bosses that you'll never actually get to see for your entire life. And they come to Twitch because they wanna escape that. They want entertainment. So no, I'm not really doing a good enough job. If I wanted to do better, I would just become a full-blown reaction streamer. If I wanted to become more successful on Twitch, that is. So you know, politics talk is great, but it's also it has a ceiling. And I